It's been
too long.
Too long indeed. We've been busy with shit that doesn't matter to you at all. Life! So, we're gonna just record a whole bunch of stuff. We did have some complaints about our videos being too long. And that's because nobody has any patience anymore. So we're going to clip everything down into 3-minute videos.
Who complained?
For TikTok. Well, nobody will watch them because they're too long.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We watch them.
We do watch them.
They're for us.
They are for us, not for you guys. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't know how many videos we're going to do, or how many movies we're going to cover tonight. It doesn't really matter because I will just edit it down into however many I want. And you can watch it if you want to. And if you don't, well, fucking whatever.
There might be some costume changes.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Who knows how long it'll go. Cheers. Roast. Fuck! Our next movie tonight is going to be The Funhouse from 2022.
Yay! Loved this movie. Loved this movie.
Which is not the same Funhouse movie from, I think, 1987. 81. Son of a bitch. That's probably wrong. I hope I get a good ding for nailing it. This movie I remember this movie not as well as Korri does.
I love this movie.
Okay, do you want to give us a plot synopsis here?
Okay, so that guy was the greatest. He's our fave. He's Irish guy. So they all have to go into this house. It's like a Big Brother house situation.
It's too bad for you that you don't have friends. Like regular friendships. Because if everybody that loves you...
Like an MTV kind of reality TV show. And all these different personalities come, and they are all competing in this reality TV show, and the audience, get to vote for our favorite contestant, basically. And so they have to try and earn our respect, or they have to earn points from us in order to not be eliminated. And once they're eliminated, they die some kind of horrendous death. It's kind of like, actually, it's not kind of like, it is exactly the Squid Games. And look at these masks. They're angular, just like the masks in the Squid Games. I am kind of astounded that this wasn't brought up as, like, any point of comparison, because this movie was great, and as far as I understand, it came out way before the Squid Games did.
No, this was last year.
When was the Squid Games?
It
was good, though. It was...
I think...
I don't remember specifically how it ended. I think...
There was too much panda.
Aww. No, I think... Well, the angry panda. So there was a screen that would show the panda. The panda's like the host, right? And he's just kind of like... He looks sort of like, well, the panda from Kung Fu Panda.
Bingo!
Be saying panda so much.
Panda. Natasha. Okay, 2021 was Squid Games. Squid Game was September 2021.
And this was May 2021.
This is May 2021.
Okay, so
right.
That's what I thought. So this one did come before the Squid Games.
Right.
Vindicated.
All right.
Finish him. Anyway, so, yeah, and this movie got zero notoriety at all. I didn't hear anything about this movie. I don't think most people did, but it was really good.
I liked this movie too.
This has rewatch. I mean, it has rewatch appeal for me. We haven't rewatched it yet, but I would be interested in rewatching it if you'd like.
Okay.
The Irish punk, though, like his death scene was very, very sad.
You know you're going to hell for all this, right?
It was noble.
I feel like liked the end of this movie, but I can't remember what it was.
So I think the last 3 minutes of the movie probably...
I can't remember what the last 3 minutes of the movie were.
I can't either. But apparently we could have done without the last 3 minutes. So it was kind of like probably like a wrap-up, kind of like trying to leave the end open-ended in a loose way so that they could set it up for a sequel, if I had to guess.
It's usually the endings that we don't really like.
It is usually the endings that we don't like. No, Funhouse was good. There was a bunch of gore in it. It was super violent, I guess.
You kind of get sucked into it like it's a real reality TV show, and you start rooting for your favorite person too. So
That's
I was
probably
like,
why you liked it so much.
I do like a good reality TV show.
I'm excited to share a bottle of champagne with him that I've been saving for a really special moment.
Okay, so you had a good time with this?
Yeah, I loved this movie. I
Okay.
thought this movie was awesome.
Apparently, according to my notes, so did I. Minus the last 3 minutes of the movie.
Whatever that was.
Whatever that was. So maybe turn it off before the last 3 minutes start.
It was a fun movie. It's not like a psychological thriller.
Would you say it was a fun house?
It was a fun house. I had fun.
As did I. Moving on to our next movie. M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
What a twist!
Knock at the Cabin. Starring Dave Bautista, also known as the guy who can't act his way out of a cardboard box. With the exception of, I think, this movie. I think this was the only movie that I felt like Dave Bautista was actually acting as an actor. Because in Guardians of the Galaxy, he is a dumb...
I'm sure I'm invisible.
...wrestler. Mm-hmm. And in... What was it?
Like
The
Land of the Dead or something.
Something of the Dead.
It's not too late to go back.
City of the... I can't remember.
Was that one in Las Vegas, which was fucking terrible?
The Zombie Queen.
So bad. Like any movie that I think I've seen Dave Bautista in up to this point, I think this is Dave Bautista's best acting.
I think it's really weird that like there's like a pro wrestler to Hollywood
Actor.
transition at
Yeah,
all.
I don't
That's real
understand.
strange to me. Hulk Hogan acted. Dwayne The Rock Johnson acted. Yeah, of course he did.
I mean,
kind of. I don't think that
was he Three Ninjas?
Randy Macho Man Savage ever did anything.
He should have.
He left us too soon.
He did.
No, he did. I agree. Gravedigger? Why didn't he ever do anything?
That's a monster truck.
Damn it, it is a monster.
Gravedigger's still alive.
Still, though, why didn't Gravedigger ever act in anything? I would love to see Gravedigger in a horror movie.
So, this movie, Korri, I feel like you should field the plot synopsis.
Oh, this movie was terrible.
I mean, you don't have to. I can do it.
I mean, we can do it together. Okay. So this family here that lives in this lovely lake house, this couple and their daughter, they are all just living to have some peace, you know.
They're on vacay.
One of them was a victim of a hate crime, like I think a year or two prior. And then these four scoundrels show up at their doorstep and want some trouble. And so the guy who was the victim of the hate crime is like, nah, you know, we're not going to have any of this. Not going to let that shit happen again, especially with my kid and my husband. So eventually all these goofballs get in here and they explain to them that Yeah, there they are.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
Ron, right?
Yeah, there's Ron. Ron Weasley, I believe he was the perpetrator of the hate crime. Also, they're all wearing shirts that are symbolic of the color scheme of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So you have the white horse, which is... Okay, so I'm not going to get too deep into this, but if you're going to make an entire movie that's based off of pretty well-established theology, you probably should know what the theology is. Maybe outside of the color schemes. That didn't seem to be apparent in this movie whatsoever at all. But anyway, so there is, what's his name? Dave Bautista?
Dave Bautista.
Wrinklehead?
Wrinklehead.
Old brainhead
He's got
Bautista.
brain capped Batista. Look at that.
Anyway.
So gross.
There he is. So he is obviously wearing the white shirt. Ron is wearing the red shirt. We have this young lady in the black shirt, and then we have this other lady, and she's the pale shirt, not yellow, but pale. So, anyway, this movie was so far off. It's just not even close.
Based off of one, like, well, I mean, this movie is far off based off of anybody's opinion. It's just so bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So they come into this family, and they are basically just here to terrorize them. But they all have this... They basically say, okay, family, one of you guys has to kill one of your own in order to stop the apocalypse from happening. Right? And they're like, we're not gonna do that, obviously. And so it's kind of like a persuasion game, and so it becomes this weird home invasion apocalypse movie. And so it's like every time they say no, basically, he's like, okay, and then Dave Bautista has to kill one of the other horsemen, right? Very violently. And then as soon as he does that, then they turn on the television, and the news is like, oh,
plague of locusts.
Oh no, it's a plague that's come, and then, the family is really like, well, that could have happened any time, or, and it was
perpetual garbage.
Real cheesy. It was real cheesy, and it was so far away from any like actual apocalyptic prophecy or theology. It was embarrassing, like you just so many liberties. You just make it whatever you want to. M. Night Shyamalan.
What a twist!
And it was weird because you keep on waiting for the twist in this one.
What a twist!
There was no
There
twist.
is no twist. The only twist was they weren't lying. Here comes the apocalypse. Yeah. Like, here it is.
Fucking told you.
It was bad.
Told you.
It was really stupid.
It was really stupid. Did you have a good time with the movie?
No. I'm gonna say no. I wanted to, because I like most of his stuff. I don't like it as in, like, it's a quality work, but I like it in the same as, like, I like walking into a jewelry store and knowing that everything that's there is not worth what it's priced. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's kind of the same thing. Like, I know that if I watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie...
What a twist!
It's gonna be garbage, but it doesn't matter if it is. But this garbage hit personally, like, too close to home to me, because I love this stuff, And so, whenever I am like, oh, it's a movie about the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
No,
and then we watched this, it was like...
No, it's not.
That's not what this movie was about at all, so...
It was M. Night Shyamalan...
What a twist!
Interpretation.
Yeah, another disappointing apocalypse promise broken.
Still waiting on those robots. Any fucking day now.
Well, he got the colors right, and there was plenty of symbology to look at, in the background and stuff, because they always like to plant those things. So, but it was dumb. It was dumb.
Agreed.
Oh.
I had no interest in watching this movie, but after watching the trailer to this movie, I did not have, like, I had zero, like, I was like, oh, cool, Dave Bautista. It's going to be Dave Bautista in Dave Bautista's movie.
I think that Ron Weasley probably needs to, like, do something to...
Not be Ron Weasley.
I feel like he needs a PR person, you know, like to just,
Stop being the same guy.
just kind of change around his look a little bit, because it's like he just always looks so sweaty and mad, you know, and it's just like, that's, I don't know. It was, plus it was, he tried to do an accent the whole time, and it was like, you can tell that they didn't give him that many lines because maybe he's not very comfortable doing, like, an American sort of accent.
Yeah. Moving on to our next movie. Scream 6, which came out this year. What a contrived piece of garbage this movie was. I have so little and so much to say about this fucking movie. Who remembers, any ghost face carrying around a fucking gun and killing someone with a gun? I mean, I might be wrong here, because after the first Scream movie, I really didn't give a shit about any of the other ones. Maybe that's bad on me. Is it, though? Is it? No. Probably not. I don't really feel like we need to give a plot synopsis to this movie, because it is the same fucking shit as the first 5 Scream movies. Minus, you know... Is it coming back to you now?
No, I remember it just fine. I just, being the props person on the weathering of that mask, like, that's not how rubber masks weather. Like, that's some silliness.
No,
that's a paper mache mask that it's totally stationary too. Like, it doesn't have the screen, like the breathable screen anywhere in the eyes, so we can't see it. Like, I don't know. It's fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah. Man. I don't really know what I can say about this movie other than, like...
Anyway, Courtney Cox has had a lot of trouble getting
surgery.
her hair under
She's
control.
had a lot of surgery, is what Courtney Cox has had. Lots and lots of surgery.
That's her business, but I mean, her hair is our business if she's going to be in movies still.
Why is that our business?
Well, because we have to watch the movies because you won't let us not.
I'm sorry. I have a problem.
We didn't have to watch this movie.
I know that. I didn't want to watch this movie.
Do you guys remember a long time ago when Madonna remade the song American Pie? That's a lot like what this movie was. Except it had Jenna Ortega in it.
Hey, let's dance the dance of brotherly love! Mamusha!
Oh, it
Who
did
I
have-
like, actually, I think Jenna Ortega's adorable.
I'm over it.
That's fine. But I mean, I still think...
Overexposure, just like fucking Mia Goth. Like, stop, Ty West, stop.
No, she's
Stop
got those.
fucking
She's got those
Tim Burtoning
those
your
super
your
big
cast.
baby eyes. You know, like those big dark eyes. Like she's a good actress. She's talented, you know, and she's fun to look at. So she's very animated, you know.
Because she's a fucking cartoon character.
Was? What did you do to him?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, but that's what makes her intriguing, you know. Like
I don't know.
Anyway, I think Jenna Ortega's fine. I thought the casting was good. I thought that the girl that they got to play her sister, whoever that is, was convincing. I was really glad that Courtney Cox didn't have bangs. I will say that I thought it was a little shocking how quickly she got over the death of Dewey. That didn't seem to take any time, even though they had been together since like 1996.
No comment.
Okay.
No comment.
Okay.
In the Scream universe, they'd been together since the first Scream movie, right? Which was like
kinda.
96.
Well, yeah, but then also, like, they got separated because, you know, Dewey is just too serious for... Just too serious about. Plenty of deaths, not enough deaths in the right spots, or the right characters dying off. Lots of contrived flashbacks, lots of contrived, just like...
Look at all those wedding rings. Those are all her former husbands that got killed by Ghostface.
Dang it!
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
She said fucking head, but they had to edit it for the trailer, so. Super glad I didn't waste any money for us to see this fucking movie in the theater, because, like... And
but this scene, I have a thing
one?
to say about this scene.
This one?
Yeah, this scene right here. This scene was absolutely stolen 1000% from the remake of The Little Princess. The outcome is not as tragic because The Little Princess is a children's movie.
A princess.
Yeah, she's the princess. The girl on this letter was not a princess, but this movie was that was absolutely just stolen.
There's a lot of fucking thievery in this movie. There's a lot of bullshit in this movie.
Oh yeah, this entire scene right here was from that short.
This whole fucking scene was loaded with costuming cameos. Like, I mean, if you look right now, there's an American Werewolf in London. There's Pinhead. There's Jason Voorhees. I'm guessing that's supposed to be the Mudman from Return of the Living Dead. That stripy guy may or may not be Beetlejuice back there. I'm not really sure. There was an It costume. All of this shit is supposed to be happening during...
Pretty sure that's Bella from Twilight.
It may be. It may be. All of this shit is supposed to be happening during Halloween. So, like, everyone's wearing a mask. And there's a knockoff Freddy. There's our Chucky right there. Right there. There's Chucky. Oh, fuck.
Is that a French-made mime? That is very weird. That's a weird costume.
Is that the Babadook right there?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
It is the Babadook,
hey.
Isn't it?
There's Rocky Horror.
Yep.
Columbia? What is her name? That's not Columbia.
You're asking the wrong person. There's a whole scene full of cameos on the train. There was plenty of I Thought You Were Dead scenes. There was plenty of fake deaths. There were 3 killers in this movie. Mm-hmm. Which I know that the past Scream movies have kind of been along the tropes of, like, couple killings, sort of. Like, I mean, all of them have been. It's always been 2 people. I think there was one Scream movie where it was actually just one dude. I think there was Scream 3. And there was just one guy going around killing people. All of the other ones...
Scream 2 was just his mom.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
We don't have to revisit it, though.
Scream lore is so important. You know what is really weird, though, is, like, this is the second movie that we've watched this week that had Screech Ulrich. Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich.
Like, have not even thought about him since my
he's been
so-called life.
floating
and he's just,
off into the universe.
I guess his
somewhere.
kids graduated high school now, and he feels good about resurfacing into his acting career. But
the version of Skeet Ulrich in this movie was so off-putting, we thought it was a deep fake.
Come on, Sam, you gotta be excited to get our murder on again. Together.
Because it looked nothing.
He looked scary in the reflection.
So much shit in this movie was so bad. I did have a good time with it though, because we tore a new asshole, I think. Most of the time.
It's just, if Scream didn't exist ever before, this movie would have been a good movie. I would have had a fine time with this movie because the production value was way better than Scream 5. At least you have to give it that. The cast was way better than Scream 5.
Half of the cast from Scream 5 was in this movie.
Yeah, maybe. Was it?
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, it was way better than Scream 5. Scream 5 was ridiculous. But it also didn't need to be made. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was exactly the first one. Except that Courtney Cox got to die, but there was nothing even gratifying or touching about that. Spoilers.
She didn't die.
Did she not? Did she pull through?
Scream 6. No thanks.
You guys can stop.
Yeah, please stop. Please. Poor Wes Craven's rolling around in his grave down there. Moving on to our next movie is Blood from 2023, which also stars Skeet Ulrich. This movie was partially confusing in parts because of what kind of like how things sort of unfold. Yeah, like the lore aspect of it was moderately confusing. How does a kid being bitten by a dog turn into a vampire?
Mm-hmm.
But
that breaks some lore rules for sure.
It does, but then also like the ending kind of tried to sort of tie it in together with stuff. I don't know. Premise of this movie is this divorced family, mom
this lady moves out to the country.
Yeah, moves out to the country with her 2 kids and their dog, and the dog disappears for a couple of days, and then the dog comes back, but he's all fucked up, like Pet Sematary kind of.
And she has like a former history of drug and alcohol abuse. So she's not like the most credible person. Never lends itself to this kind of situation.
I do think that at one point, I think I had asked you who we were supposed to be rooting for in this movie, because like the dad is a piece of shit, and the mom is also kind of a piece of shit, and the kid who ends up turning into whatever the fuck it is that he turns into is also a piece of shit. But like the daughter seems to be okay, and like
yeah, we decided to root for the daughter.
Yeah. So
the dog dies.
Yes, the dog does die. So what ends up happening is the dog disappears for a couple of days, comes back, attacks the kid, who honestly his performance was pretty fucking stellar.
Yeah, he also looks in the face very, very similar to that same kid from The Big Green and all of those movies from like the 90s, like The Sandlot. And anyway, I've talked about that kid a couple of times, I think. He looks a lot like that kid. I don't know if that's his son or if they're somehow related, but man, like there's a similarity.
This kid?
Yeah.
Goes to the hospital. His mom is a nurse, which doesn't help much of anything. The mom starts doing some skeezy shit at the hospital, and then like the sperm donor.
Well, no, he's a good dad. He's a committed father. He's not a bad dad. They don't even portray him as a bad dad through the movie. Like, he does a good job, and he's got custody of his kids while his ex-wife is in rehab. He does start banging the nanny, so... But, you know, I mean, it's like...
That's what good dads do.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I don't know. Well, I mean, you know, when your wife is a deadbeat drug addict, I guess. Let's look at the nanny. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't hire a nanny that looks like that. You know? Like, what is stupid idiot? You wanted your husband to cheat on you.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Did you see the nanny?
I don't know, but if I wasn't trying to keep the conversation going, then we would just be sitting here in an empty...
Don't say anything. I'm just saying, like, she was just... That's a bad choice. If you had... Arguably, you had to hire the nanny together, you know. It probably shouldn't have been a woman in the first... Well, I mean, it'd have to be a woman in the first place. But she'd have to be, like, in her 60s or her 70s. You don't hire a 20-something, you know? Like, ridiculous. Anyway, it was destined to fail.
Right.
Her fault. Completely.
Everything in this movie. No, well, technically, we tried to trace everything back to whose fault it was. And I guess technically it is her fault.
It's both of their faults. They're equally responsible.
So Dad's equally responsible. Dad's responsible for the dog.
Dad got him the dog.
Right. And then she had a drug problem.
She moved next to the tree.
She moved next to the tree. Right.
So
they move out to the middle of nowhere. Kid gets attacked by the dog, starts needing blood for sustenance.
His mom takes him home. Like, he gets really sick because she tries to feed him pancakes and he throws up. And I think he goes into, like, anaphylaxis or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
And then every time they try and feed him food... the same thing happens. And then so she brings him home. So she catches him. I mean, you saw in the trailer, like, he's drinking blood. And she's like, oh my gosh, your vitals have stabilized and everything is going so well for you now.
Yeah.
So now let's get you some more. And so she brings him home. Oh, and so she tries and gets him, like, animal blood. So she gets a few rabbits from the pet store and she gives it to him and he likes it. He likes the taste of it, but it also makes him really sick.
Yeah, it has to be human. It has to be human blood.
Yeah.
And so the whole movie kind of progresses into this, like, the ending of this movie is very dark, I think. Like, it does not end well for anybody. Although they might give it away in the trailer, So the daughter suspects that there's Skeet Ulrich. There he is. See, Skeet. He looks
so dumb.
Everything spirals out of control, and everything is bad. And except Skeet Ulrich actually looks like Skeet Ulrich, opposed to the version that we got in Scream 6.
Get ready to slice up more motherfuckers.
Which was like deep fakes.
That was totally weird.
So I don't know. This movie had a lot of tense moments, I guess, because you weren't really sure what was going to happen or how the kid was gonna end up. You know, or
did you see that kid's face? He looks so much like that other kid.
I don't know. I like this movie. I think that. And Korri and I kind of had a conversation about kid vampires.
Yeah.
And how much better kid vampire movies are comparatively. Like, I can't think of one that's been bad, necessarily. I can't think of a bad kid vampire movie. If you guys can think of a bad kid vampire movie, go ahead and leave it in the comments section below, because everyone comments. I liked this movie.
Yeah, I did too. I liked how convincing she was as, like, a mom that's trying to, like, whoever directed this movie, they had the emotional blackmail aspect of it down pretty well. Because it's like, she's trying to make up for being a bad mom
in the past, and then she's like
by being an overachiever mom now. It's like the only way to do that is by supporting the bloodlust of your, you know, like shitty, hungry, young boy child.
Kid.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a 9-year-old boy, you know how sadistic their appetite is anyway, even if they're not craving human blood. So, I don't know. I felt bad for her. Like, she really is doing the best that she can.
Did you have a good time with it?
I did.
All right.
I thought this one was...
I did too.
It's worth it.
I think so too. I think it's definitely worth everyone's time. At least to check out as a... For being a vampire movie, which has been like way overdone.
Mostly missed for us.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a hit, I think, for us. As at being a vampire movie. Because vampire movies are just kind of contrived and like... boring as fuck and predictable.
I will say the disruption of the lore bothered me.
Agreed.
I didn't like that. I don't like how you just...
If there had been more of an explanation about
for
what
a vampire
lived...
to shine like a diamond in the sun, then it's not okay for a vampire to become a vampire through a dog. And they were very, very specific about not using the terminology vampire, but it's like, I mean... Come on.
No, he was a vampire that could exist in the sunlight. So, I mean, technically, maybe not a vampire.
I mean, I think you said something about how bats lived in the tree, but I don't know if you actually saw bats in there or if you were just...
yeah, dude, they came... There was a whole scene where they flew into the tree.
So was it like was it a vampire bat thing? Was it like...
Or there, I mean, there was some kind of like
COVID
winged
narrative?
mammal. Maybe.
Well, the dog ate a bat and then bit a kid. Who knows how these things start? I don't know. I just, purist.
Outside of the lore
break, I thought this was a solid movie.
Okay, all right. Moving on to our next movie. This movie called Wounded Fawn. This was another Shudder movie that I like. Okay, so Shudder has been hit or miss, in my opinion. There have been a couple of Shudder movies that have been like, fuck, man, that was crazy. That's like crazy what? Good. No, there were. I think there was 2 that we watched in a row. I was like, fuck, that was a Shudder movie. Damn.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think Deadstream was Shudder.
Deadstream was Shudder. So this movie starts out, so it's a 2-act movie, and like it is very clearly labeled as a 2-act movie because there are breaks in between acts. And on the screen, written in big cursive font, is Act 1 and Act 2. And Act 2 took such a hard turn. Not really sure if it was left or right or straight or down. Like, I don't even know. It got fucking bananas.
Yeah, it was somewhere off center.
This movie starts out as a kind of a creepy, like, home invasion sort of esque serial killer, stalker sort of, I don't know, dating movie, I guess. We already know who the killer is.
Oh man, back off! Back off! Back off!
But at the end of Act 1, we're moderately confused as to whether or not he is out of his fucking mind or if he is just hallucinating a lot of this shit. And then into Act 2, like, the entire movie began to spiral into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we were watching it and there was very tense moments in the first act and it was like, oh fuck, is she gonna get away? We're kind of invested in this character now. And then some shit happens and then you're like, oh, well, dang.
Yeah, and in Act 2, it was like, I don't like when those movies go from being very, like, sort of linear, to being very, like, all over the place. I mean, it just spirals completely out of control.
Well, and I think that the trailer gives no indication, honestly, about anything that happens in Act 2, if I remember right. Because I thought this was just a fucking regular ass, like, serial killer girl trying to get away from the serial killer. There was so much symbology in this movie. There was so much of it. There was lots and lots, and there was suggested symbology in some of the dreams that he talked about that he was having.
I think a lot of it was made up, though. I think there was a lot of symbology. Like, I could be wrong. I'm just saying, I didn't know if there was, I don't know, like the whole white mask thing. I didn't recognize any of that. I don't know who or what that was supposed to be.
The three ladies on the statue that he wound up stealing or whatever, like,
is that fictitious? Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I can't say that I have either. It was a really nice looking sculpture. But
even
like,
in the beginning when the guy was talking about the three women and one of them is like a Gorgon that looks like Medusa, but he doesn't call her Medusa, he calls her something else. And I'm like, I've never heard of that before. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No.
Moving on.
I don't know if I would recommend this movie or not, just because, like, it was a straight shooter. I think the first half, and then the second half, the arrow just went all of the directions.
I would not recommend this movie.
You don't think so?
No.
No? Not to anybody?
I don't think so. I don't think it was good enough to recommend to anybody. It wasn't bad enough to, like, make me want to walk away from it, you know. It kept my interest till the end, but I don't think I'd watch it again, and I don't think I'd recommend it. It gets really disjointed, and I don't like when movies do that.
It did get incredibly
I don't like it when
disjointed.
it's like, you feel like you're watching something and you have a total and clear capacity of what it's about, and then suddenly it shifts into, like, something totally existential.
Like a fucking acid trip.
Yeah,
or like,
and there's no explanation of why it decided to take that hard turn, but when it does, it's like, you don't really come back from that in, like, a semblant way, ever. If that is even the word I'm looking for. But anyway, I can't really forgive it for that. And also, I still have really mixed feelings about the end credit scene.
I mean, a lot of the independent horror directors have decided, like Ty West, in particular, with I think it was Pearl, which I did not make you watch, and you should be very grateful about that. Mia Goth had this, like, 15-minute monologue at the end of the movie. And then there was a very slow pan away during the entire credit scene. Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a slow pan. It was just Mia Goth standing there, smiling and blinking. Tired of both of those people. But it was very resemblant to what Ty West has been doing with his movies, and just like an excessive amount of, except it was, in this aspect, it was extremely comical. Like, kind of like, you know, the Black Knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs!
Yeah, it was much like that.
Like, okay.
Much akin to that scene.
You're still going.
I guess it was a brain injury that made him do that, but, like, they didn't make it clear enough. I
don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, this movie was, like I said, it was a straight shot out of the gate for, like, the first half of the movie, and then it fucking... Yeah, the second half was real weird. Until the very end of the movie, and you're like, oh, I guess it was just the brain injury. I mean, kind of, but also, like, she went through the effort of making a dress out of the tarp to try and fool him into thinking that she was a Greek goddess, and it's just like... Did that all happen in reality? You know,
on. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, it was cool for what it was, but it wasn't all that, I guess.
No.
In the immortal words of whatever his name was.
I would maybe suggest this movie to people who don't like normal horror movies. Which I guess at this point is no one.
So much of this movie just felt like kind of an awkward date night.
Yeah.
And that's what most of this movie was.
And I'm looking for a fun, loving guy. Murder.
And then it was laced with fucking LSD.
Except there was no LSD. I think it was just a brain injury.
It was just a brain injury.
But
we didn't suffer the brain injury, so why would we have to live through that?
Back to it.
It's like so much of what happened in the second act of the movie was contingent on that brain injury. And
Absolutely.
It was dumb.
I mean,
like she anticipated that that's how that would go down. Like, I don't think she did.
No.
It doesn't matter. You guys watch it and, decide for yourselves. I thought it was a bit on the silly side.
it was a bit on the... It wasn't a bit on the silly side. It was a billion% on the silly side.
But it kept my interest, and I did like the fact that it was filmed in...
it was actually filmed on film, which was one of the most appealing aspects, I think.
Very nostalgic about it. Yeah.
There was a lot of... I mean, as far as we understood, the research that we did on this movie was filmed on film. It wasn't digitally filmed. It wasn't run through a filter. This movie was on film, and you felt the movie because it was on film. And it had a very good, like, nostalgic kind of feel to it. It did have a grit to it, which was really nice. And if it was a filter, like, man, fucking just run everything through that from now on. Any fucking horror movie ever, just run it through that filter, and it'll be 10 times better. Because, geez. And this movie came out this year. So, like, yeah, super good. I totally forgot about that. Good on you remembering.
Oh, yeah.
About the...
I thought it was another old movie. Like, what
No, Gary, please. No, please.
That last one about the train made me feel real weird.
Do you have a good time with this?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I wouldn't recommend it, but I did have a good enough time with that.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I would recommend it either, unless you're into,
great by any means.
Into some weird shit. For sure.
Not the worst.
Not the worst. No, definitely not. That being said, that is it for us tonight. If you are seeing this screen and we did not review this movie in this video, we probably will next time. Or if you think that you may have seen this screen already, it's because you have. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And leave us comments about what you want us to review next time. Or don't. I think that's it.
No, I think that's it too.
I think that's it. I think it's bedtime.
Yeah, I think that's bedtime.
All right.
I think that's a wrap.
All right. It's not a wrap. It is. We'll see you guys in the future. 21, 6, 15, 11, 21.
Sorry, did I say English accent?
You did say.
Oof.
That's
edit.
all right.
Hard edit.
No worries. The watch one.
It doesn't matter.
Wasn't that... Oh, which one was that? That was a sci-fi movie, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. It was terrible. I think we should just rename the channel Spoilers and just say whatever you want to say. It's fine.
Gary,
Bad
remember
name.
to put in a Little John reference about 30 seconds ago. Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Dunst.
Oh.
Kristen Stewart was Twilight.
I would
Although
too.
I don't think I would affiliate myself with vampire people.
We're not affiliated with any. We're not affiliated with any kind of vampire people. Just want to make that clear. All right.
I mean, like, I know people who thought that they were vampires, and I mean,
You mean
I think
everyone in the 90s?
yeah.